Guys, I'm going to explain to you that we are all intertwined. Um, Satan was cast to the earth. He is now an inhabitant of the earth. He has not been thrown into the fire yet, but yet he has, because it's a place of torment for people who have the desire to be more than what they were created to be, and that is a trait of the devil. And it was impregnated into Eve, and she bore children, and that is now the lineage of Earth. Because when you have conversations with people, you are committing it's a literal sexual act. What it is it's frequencies bouncing in between each other to understand what is happening, right? That's how you learn math. You're literally having sex with teachers. That's what you're doing. It's also why there's a bride of Christ. So now that I've told you that literally everything here on earth is intermingled within each other, I'm going to read to you the judgment of the ones who have nearly perfect wisdom, but they use it against that which actually is, because they want to be what is. They're jealous of it because they want to rule like he rules. And this is what produced sin into humanity and fell upon the earth. And the sin fell upon the earth as well because the shedding of blood, the frequencies, all these things, it's impregnation, it's adultery, and the only way to overcome any of this here on earth, Jesus Christ told you, John told you, and Jesus Christ told you, the way to overcome everything is to live your life by faith that the Lord God really has already done everything for us, because it's the only way to live righteously. It's the only way to not be judged by Him after you take off your cloak and you reveal your true nature. Because this here, it's a decaying aspect. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, look at me, man. I used to be a baby face and stuff like that, you know? But come on now. All right, so I'm going to read this. I mean, guys, this is real life. A lot of people aren't aware that the things that they do have already been set up. And I'm at the point where it's like, everything is set up and I'm going to be straight. I'm going to be fine, dude, because I know where the glory belongs at. I mean, it's all just magnificent masterpiece that surpasses all understanding. And it has the perfect way of teaching you without, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful is what it is. So this is Ezekiel. We're going to get into this. The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God. Okay, so we're going to have to look at this. This is for the people who actually know what this stuff is. Okay. Thus has said the Lord, Son of Man, say unto the Prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord God. So it's the Lord God. Because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. This is why we went over how really everything is intertwined. People come to this knowledge, and they use it to manipulate and rape. But the thing is it's really not even that. It's set up from the very beginning for them to be this way because we became into a fallen nature. We came into a fallen nature. If you read Romans 7, you come to the conclusion that when you know that God is God, it is no longer you that sins, but it is sin within you that sins. Go read Romans 7. Okay? Alright, so because thy heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. This is the Almighty. This is the Almighty. It is not the plural as used in Genesis. Okay? I sit in the seat of Elohim in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not a God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God, Elohim, which is the plural of God. See, God has, I guess you could say cronies that, work according to his will that he had set up from the very beginning of what he is. He is always the beginning. He is always the ending. He is always the point of where anything gets pulled from. And the Gnostic texts explain that Satan didn't have a mother, which is why he couldn't acknowledge, or Satan was formed from God's wisdom, which was the feminine aspect of God, right? So what happened was he wasn't able to acknowledge God as God, so he fell from his divine, beautiful nature. But that's Gnosticism. Anyway, I'm just going into all of this stuff, guys, because there's gonna come a point in your life where you're gonna wonder why everything seems so intertwined, why it feels like everything is so incredibly connected and so disgusting, or so beautiful. Okay, it's God. It's God's plan. Whatever God's plan for you to live your life is it. Okay, because life is life. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasuries. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, because what they do is they literally traffic people. Because when you understand how powerful you really are, you either get broken by God and understand that he is God, or you try to be God, and there's only one. There's only one true God. And we are his children. Because that's when you read Genesis, it says Elohim, it says God's plural, literally created the heavens and the earth. Okay. So therefore there was a one God, El, which would be El, because Elohim, it's the plural of that God, and his will for them to go out like his hands and his fingers, and the part of his workmanship went forth and built it all. Okay. This might be a little bit too much for a lot of people, but it's going out there regardless. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God, behold, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nation, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. They shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die, the death of them that are slain in the midst of the sea. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am God? But thou shalt be a man and no God, in the hand of him that slayeth thee. Thou shalt die the death of the uncircumcised by the hand of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord God. Moreover, so he's going on to another one, another saying here. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation against the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum of full wisdom and perfect in beauty, and hast been in Eden, yes, Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets, which is a musical instrument. This is getting ready. Tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in the day that thou was created. It's talking about a glorious being with the ability to emit frequencies that basically a Pied Piper. That's what he's saying it is. Okay, are you following this? Because this is real stuff. This is what this is. He's explaining these two people that God came to Ezekiel and told him to tell about. These are real people who have just accumulated knowledge and wanted to be super duper powerful. But this is him telling them through Ezekiel that I'm just gonna beat your freaking ass and I'm gonna fucking show you, you know. Excuse my language. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou was upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. The covering cherub, okay? It's a cherub. So, cherubim is a type of entity, okay? It's a type of entity, but it's in a man also. Because we are all spiritual beings. Like I said, we are in this flesh. Okay. See, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of really dumb people in the world. Okay. And yeah. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. And when this iniquity was found in these spiritual beings, they dropped it into women, and the frequencies that they were admitted into the DNA of humanity, is what it is. And then we became a darkened creature. That's how Adam and Eve fell. They fell not because she ate, but because the devil, the serpent, the dragon, that old serpent, as explained in Revelations, literally wholly seduced her. It's called being beguiled. Okay? So she didn't break any laws. It was these types of creatures that we're talking about right here. Okay? Hell isn't meant for people. It's why Jesus came here to save us. But there's some people who align themselves with these creatures, these entities that actually fell because they didn't want to submit to God. Because God wanted to come be in the flesh, and they were fiery beings. This is in scriptures that are not in the actual Bible. Okay, they didn't want to submit to clay. They didn't want to submit to dust. They didn't want, you know what I'm saying? Because they were fiery beings. Why would fire want to submit to clay? Doesn't matter. God says it, it's going to happen. Okay, and you're going to submit to that. Okay, so God had a son. It was his plan to have a son, and then it was going to happen, and it had to happen. And these guys weren't okay with it. So what happened is there was a war in heaven, like said, all right, and they were cast out to the earth, and they became inhabitants of the earth with humanity. So all humanity had to go through everything as well, because Jesus is God. He wanted to have kinship. He wanted to have brothers and sisters like himself. Okay, because he desired to leave his estate and come here and show himself that he is really the God of not only death but life and all things, because he has power over everything. Okay, he came here because he loves us enough to show us that it's the real deal. Okay. All right, and here we are. This is what I'm talking about by the whole intermingling and everything being connected. All right. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Right? Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. So this is explaining exactly, because God literally wanted to come in the flesh and, be God in the flesh. And he wanted to be all things. So he literally, and he desired that, and that's what he deserves. Because he is the beginning of all things. And this cherub wasn't okay with that, so it's talking about that right now. So he fell. Thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities. Defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities. Thine sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities. He was the covering cherub, right? The covering cherub. Okay. Do you remember the Ark of the Covenant and how it was made? You should probably look that up if you are still following this, because that's going to explain God sat on the Ark of the Covenant, and they were covering what? There is a malevolent, aggressive male spirit named King in the boiler room. O covering cherub, thou hast defiled thy sanctuaries by the multitude of thine iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore I will bring forth a fire from the midst of thee, and it shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth in the sight of all them that behold thee. All right. So that's that. And then he goes into another word of the Lord, talking about different things. It just keeps on going on and on and on about those whom he found iniquity in. It's a pretty good chapter. It's enough to strike fear in the hearts of some things every time you read it. I guarantee it.